All right, welcome everybody. This is Matador, and today I'm with Rarg. Rarg, say hi.
Hola.
Today you're joining us for a 30v30 against the 79th. We are playing on St. Marie Igles. The BR1 boys are going to be the allies. 79th is going to be Axis. At least that's what I was told, so we will see. And like I said, the 30v30 rules are one piece of armor, any size or any class, one artillery gun that can fire HE or smoke. All commanders' abilities are enabled. So it's going to be a little bit less restrictive than the previous 30v30s. It's going to be closer to a 50v50, obviously lower manning. So, Rarg, what are you looking for today at a BR1 after that match against 7PZD and ESPT last week?
Well, I'm hoping they kind of did some reflection on what they could have done better in that match and show some growth here. I mean, if I recall correctly, that was our first defeat here on 30v30, right?
Oh, that was a 50v50 actually. It was our first.
Oh, was it?
It was our first 50 that BR1's ever been able to do by themselves, which was awesome. Granted, we did have one armor squad and a recon squad from 7th Cav, but we had guys waiting in the wings. So, you know, the first 50v50, a little bit different meta, different strategies that they had to, you know, kind of figure out on the fly. I think they did a pretty good job of it, but yeah, it did end up in a loss. So, you know, now we're going to look at, you know, how do they come back into 30? You know, what are they doing? What are they testing out? Are they testing anything out? Are they going to go back to their previous strats?
30v30 has always been one thing that BR1's been good at. They've always dominated them pretty well.
Yeah, so this will be an interesting match. St. Marie Igles we got some open fields. You know, we got the gliders in there for a little bit extra cover. Down the middle of the map in the Echo Foxtrot role, we got the city, so a lot of urban combat opportunities in there. So it's going to be an interesting map. Some of the flanks are going to be a little bit more guarded via terrain than we've seen on like Saint Marie du Mont or Foy or Utah. So it's going to be an interesting match. You know, 79th, haven't seen them. They're relatively new to Embassy. I think they might be relatively new. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But it'll be interesting to see them come on out and, you know, see what they can do. It's the first time seeing them and, you know, hoping to have a good time here.
Fresh faces are always welcome, even if you're fighting against them.
Yep, exactly. We're hoping to have the map flip here in about 7 to 10 minutes. We will keep you informed. Looks like the 75th guys are bringing their way in here. But yeah, Rarg, so, you know, coming back to 30s and having all commander abilities available and one artillery gun, what is something that you want to see?
I want to see the commanders try and coordinate that artillery with their infantry pushes a bit more. That's something I've never really gotten to see too terribly much, just because most of the matches we've had restricted artillery to just smoke rounds or just none at all. But yeah, like combined arms, you got to learn how to use all of your assets in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, and I think that's something that the BR1 guys have to really start practicing a little bit more, because last match, if you watched it, there was some movement, but not a lot of combined arms. The armor was kind of off on their own. You know, artillery was doing their thing, but they just weren't really, in my opinion, hitting the spots that needed to be hit. So hopefully we can see a little bit more communication, a little bit more combined arms, kind of seeing that armor working within that combined arms area, you know, getting support from infantry, having that artillery coming down on the right spots is called out by squad leaders. You know, using smoke to their advantage as well. I think that could be a big thing.
Oh yeah, no, smoke cover is like a huge advantage. Like, if the enemy can't see you, they can't necessarily accurately shoot you. Yeah, sure, machine guns can lay down all the suppressive fire they want, but if they can't see you, they can't effectively do it.
Exactly.
But that armored gameplay from last match, because I watched it even though I wasn't able to be here with you. I was watching it, and that armor gameplay, like, That's something I was hoping to see BR1 improve upon as well, is not letting their armor get stuck out there all by itself.
Yeah,
Like,
and something I will say about that last match, the ESPT armor crew in the Stuart, and I believe that they were also handling the Greyhound, did a fantastic job of using the speed to their advantage and getting behind the German armor and harassing them. So it'll
yeah.
be interesting to see if BR1 is going to have any type of response, or maybe even bringing that kind of strategy into things.
I mean, it, even in real life, that's how the American tanks kind of had to go about it against the oftentimes superior like German armor at that time. Was they had to gang up on them, 2, 3, 4 Shermans together against one Panzer.
Yes, exactly. So we'll see how BR1 kind of bounces back from that. See what kind of strategies they employ. What I'm seeing is 75th has about half their players in right now, so we're gonna take a quick break. Be back in a few minutes before map flip. Final thoughts, Rark?
I mean, honestly, don't really have any.
All right, and I'm looking for today. I would like to see some flanks and some solid defense from BR1. Maybe a solid push on that first point instead of leaving 2 or 3 squads back for defense. Just a solid push to that midpoint, cap it, and then sort out defense at that point. But with that last thought, we will be back shortly. I'm going to send you back to the flyover with some BR1 original music, and we'll talk to you guys soon. All right, everybody, welcome back. Here we are getting ready to go. Looks like the 75th and the 79th, we're going to have a combo here. They're going to be playing together. Looks like map flip will happen anytime. We're just waiting on maybe one or two more players. So welcome back. We're getting ready to go. So, Rark,
Yes.
with one armor, what type of armor would you recommend these guys pull out immediately? Do you think it should go straight to heavy, a medium, light, recon, something to get out there nice and quick? What do you think is the proper armor unit to take out in the start?
I mean, that's hard. I mean, honestly, I'd probably go with medium. You kind of have that bit of a tankiness that you get from the heavy, but you get a bit more speed and mobility out of it. Sure, it's going to be slower than light, but and not able to take as much as the heavy, but it gives you a better all-around, like, reactiveness to whatever you come across.
So when we're looking at the Axis versus the Allies, I mean, the Allies have the Stuart and the Greyhound as their recon and their light tank. We have the Lux and the Puma for the Axis. In my mind, not being a huge armor buff, I find that, as per history has shown and what the general consensus is, that the Lux and the Puma definitely have the advantage there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, early, like, at least early war for, like, what the U.S. is considered for early war, like 42 onward and stuff. The Germans had the edge overall when it came to their armor technology and just overall how everything was actually built and produced for them. But if the Americans can get the good flanks on the Germans, it'll be a cakewalk for them. All they got to do is make sure that they push up with their infantry, they have good infantry cover, and they don't allow those German Panzerfausts to come up on them and pin them down so that the German armor can finish them off.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point with the Panzerfaust, because those, I mean, the AT troops for the Axis were much superior because of weaponry than what we saw.
Yeah.
I want to take a close look at the Lux versus the Stuart, though. I mean, the Lux has, I believe, they're 20mm cannons. I could be wrong.
That one I'm not too sure on.
But it's more of an infantry support vehicle, armored vehicle that is going to have more of a rapid firing armament, whereas the Stuart is a true tank, with its cannon that is a, slower firing weapon. However, still has a speed.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't put Panzer IIIs in. That would have probably been a better matchup of having an actual light tank for the Germans.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen, right? We got updates coming down. We all know that the British forces are coming out at some time soon. And that will be in addition to more armor. You're going to have the British armor coming in. It'll be interesting to see what they use as a recon. Probably the Daimler.
Probably.
And then,
I'd be more interested in their heavy. I wonder if they'll go with the Churchill or the Black Princes.
I mean, judging off the way, and this is just, looking at the game with, having the 76 and then having, the Tiger, I think a Black Prince might be the way because it's a little bit more unique.
Well, I mean, Black Prince is essentially just an up-armored Churchill with a slightly better cannon.
Well, I mean, we also have to look at, maybe they bring the Firefly in for the British as well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
the Sherman Firefly would be fun. And those things are god-awful to, go against.
Yeah, so, I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what direction they go with the British armor. But it will be nice, and this is just because I'm a fan of bolties, to see a battle on this game. It's mainly bolt action rifles. You know, your Car 98, the SMLE Mark III, and you know, just bolt action paradise. I mean, granted, yeah, you're gonna have Stens, and you know, obviously the MP40 and SCG-44, and then you know it's gonna be an interesting mix there. And then looking at the machine guns, it's gonna be interesting to see how they bring those in, because what are they, you know, what are they gonna bring in for the British? Obviously, they're gonna bring in what they're using, but you know that's a magazine-fed weapon. It's a 30-round mag.
Yeah.
So it looks like we might be getting map flip here. So stand by. We're about to find out, and then we will get you into the action as soon as I can. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes of it with the British update, to see kind of what weapon choices they choose, how they're going to implement, you know, the Sten and all of that kind of stuff, and kind of what is going to be. So we're going to flip over to live here. And here we go. Looks like we got BR1 starting to move out. You know, quick look at the map here. Looks like we're going to be on the top portion of the map today. Everything above the 6 line there. Starting on Axis, we got Volaville, then Route de Harass, then Deads on the church at St. Mary Glace, then back up top to Artillery Battery, and then Levue Verger. So very high map here, with St. Marie being the midpoint. There's obviously, that brings in both flanks into the equation. So, you know, looking at this, I'm hoping to see some flanks down on the south there. But, you know, with 30 man, we could be somewhat limited. But, hey, you know, it's going to be exciting to see where this one takes us.
Could always be like that first game I was here with you on, where they snuck through the small little left flank that they had and got right behind the Axis team and got that airhead in.
Yeah, and as we kind of move forward, looking at this midpoint, you know, for those of you who've played, this is one of the, at least for me, this is one of my favorite points to assault on this map. You know, you're fighting over the iconic church. You got the towers for MGs and your marksmen. You got plenty of walls around for cover. It's a little bit open with the streets and kind of the plaza around the church. But, you know, as you can see, you got alleyways, you got houses, you got roads. Everything allowing large flanking movements within urban terrain. So this is a great one to watch. It's going to be really interesting on that midpoint. And then, you know, when we look up here, you got the rows of houses to cover movement as you're going towards the next point. But then, boom, you know, just like all the Norman countryside, surrounded by fields.
Yep.
So, you know, moving on either point, even when we look back around, moving to Artillery Battery, we still got open fields and hedgerows to move across. You know, taking the hedgerow lines and, you know, pushing with smoke and armor could be extremely important to come to these points. So, you know, we got 10 seconds till match warm-up is done. I would imagine both teams are staged up on the line, and here we go, 3, 2, 1, and the match is live. So just a reminder, this is BR1 versus the 75th and 79th Infantry Divisions. This is a 30v30, 1 artillery gun that can fire HE and smoke, and 1 armor any class. All commander abilities are live. So here we go. So as we see immediately, BR1 spreading out across the fields here, getting themselves in position. We got supply trucks and troop transports as they push forward. You know, judging on this, good spread here. You know, as we see these guys getting themselves into the proper position to get their OPs down, to start getting garrisons down. And there we have BR1 dumping out just to the east of the church.
Being aggressive and getting that truck all the way up there, too.
And as we come over here, you know, they've already started a cap, and there we have 75th and 79th moving in up there on the north side to establish themselves. But other than that, I'm not seeing much movement around coming from that direction. There we have some on the south.
Makes me
as
wonder
well.
if they're trying to go for a more defensive gameplay, or what? Because the 75th and 79th don't look like they're being as aggressive as BR1 is.
Yeah, but here we go. Now they're starting to spill out here on the north side, starting to push into point. You know, we got Major Oinky, Scotty Doan, and Half Royal here holding down that position. They're going to run into some contact here as Axis is starting to move in from the north with First Lieutenant Fizzy, V Lost, and a couple others. You know, it looks like artillery's already starting to hit the point. And there, Oinky takes down First Lieutenant Fizzy. V Lost is also moving behind that wall. You know, as we can see here, you have 75th and 79th kind of spread out here on the north. You know, it looks like here comes their major push coming up the middle. We got their armor here pushing right down that main line, that main road, trying to get to the point here.
And that's not going to be a good time for him, though. He's up there without much infantry cover and in an urban environment.
Yeah, urban environment, not a lot of cover. Looks like we have one truck go down for the 79th. As we have our Sherman here, the BR1 tank crew, which is Deerslayer, Cryo, and Shadow Payton today. Great infantry support there by Sea Green Squad to get that one enemy infantryman off that armor, as they are now holding down the south with no issue, as we see in the distance 75th and 79th moving around with their recon to try to get some type of flank on the back. But as we see here, BR1 has already captured the midpoint, as 75th and 79th are moving themselves into the western buildings here, using that armor to hold that road down to try to give themselves an avenue to get in. But here we go, Scotty, Half Royal, the kid here holding down this northern side. As Half Royal goes down, Captain Weiser was able to get him, and here goes Scotty coming around a corner.
About to get himself. Oh.
And Scotty goes down, so that north flank got hit and taken out. Here comes Major Oinky coming in to give some backup after taking out Weiser. And as we're looking here, you know, when I'm seeing, we got some smoke down there on the road, but 75th and 79th really trying to push up this main road to get into the point to kind of get BR1 off. But as we back up and look here, BR1 has a fantastic line down this main road here, just holding position.
Yeah, but their armor's starting to take some fire from something.
Yeah,
just down the road.
Yeah, it looks like that was a second piece of armor. Second piece of Axis armor. Rules might have changed, but I thought it was one piece each. However, the Sherman was able to take care of it. As now we have the other piece of armor moving up here on the main road. Sherman moving around to maybe try to find an angle on it. But he's smoking, he's pretty hurt. That's going to be a tough battle to get there, as we have Sergeant Hagrid moving in onto church by himself to find a position there. As we see here, you know, the Sherman is sitting right at that crossroads with the enemy armor staring right down that road.
Yeah, that's a tense standoff right there. Who wants to peek first?
Yep, who's gonna peek? And here we have God Emperor with his MG just sitting there laying down fire, holding down that road as they're trying to clear 75th and 79th out of the city, as they're gonna want to push down the next point as soon as they can. As you can see here,
the BR1. That's giving the BR1 anti-tank some freedom to maneuver around and hopefully hit that Panzer in the butt.
Yeah, as we see here, Inertia is trying to move his way around to find that German armor. As Mickey Free and Inertia are sitting here on an enemy OP, just trying to kind of hold them in one position while they start moving things around. The enemy armor is now starting to retreat up the road out of the main as we look around and see not a lot of presence on the south side, but a lot of presence here on the north from 75th and 79th as they're slowly moving their way into town. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on this defensive setup that BR1 has got going here, holding down this midpoint with that pretty good defensive line?
Oh yeah, no, they're doing a good job of it. They just need to be able to find Weiser there before he can set down like an OP or something for his squad.
And it looks like that German armor was taken out up there. I believe that was inertia. As we come up here, thick cut bacon and inertia up there as AT troops were able to take out that enemy armor to really give BR1 a good standing here on the point. As we do see 75th and 79th is wanting to work their way down from the north side here. Not a lot in the south, and it seems like their middle salient here has been defeated.
Yeah, no, that German armor should have started peeling out as soon as he noticed his infantry support kind of getting melted there. At least that's what I would have done.
As we kind of start looking here, you know, BR1's still pretty concentrated throughout the city, holding down. They're working that southern flank, really moving slowly to try to clear out everything, make sure they don't miss any APs or Garys, while the northern flank is being held down over here with Oinky, Half Royal, Scotty Don't, the Bilbo holding down with this trench, which is great cover and a great angle. That's really going to work on holding this northern flank.
Yeah, holding those trenches, giving them a good view of anyone trying to use that wall as cover.
You know, it looks like we have a flare in the distance over Route de Harras. I believe that's going to be the BR1 recon squad that's up there, getting a flare up, seeing what's on there, seeing if maybe they can make a move. We're going to stay right here, though, and watch this northern flank as Scotty, Oinky, Royal, and the God Emperor are sitting here trying to hold it down. Looks like God Emperor is trying to find a spot for his MG to provide some good cover. As Oinky goes down, Scotty's in the top there, hiding, getting smoked out, hoping to be able to hold that with cover from behind. You know, looking up here, looking to the north, we have Huzzah working his way around, probably hunting for OPs or Garys, trying to see what's going on. Trying to prevent any type of flank from just respawning after respawn after respawn.
Playing a bit of parkour there behind enemy lines.
Yep, really trying to get in there and get rid of this northern push as we see a recon squad sitting there in that housing complex for the 79th and 75th. But here comes Huzzah finding a great angle and was able to eliminate one, and there's only one left. The SL right here basically is sitting here trying to get a spot, trying not to be seen. And there's Weiser and Haggard were able to spawn again, so Huzzah has not found either that OP or the Gary that they have been spawning at. And there's CPAC finding a great window for his MG to provide overwatch on that field from where they're trying to push.
Spot.
That's fantastic up in that church. Not quite in the tower, just below it, and a nice solid window. Great cover there. As we move up here, you know, we just had a big spawn here. West 75th and 79th. Right by this glider, as we have Mickey Free and Inertia up here by themselves, trying to hunt down this Gary. And we're going to leave the action here for a second. We're going to pop up to Ruda Haas as we have BR1 assault squads pushing in. Leon Thotsky, Hawkman. We have Juliet and the Kid up here. And a former tree farmer as well. But the Kid and Juliet go down as they're trying to push into this point. which is well defended by 75th and 79th, as they're able to take out a majority of that BR1 squad. So that was a nice attempt at a flank. Great defense by the Axis teams, though. We're going to come right on back over here. It's like they just took out a truck. And I do hear, and here we go. Here's another piece of armor. It's like we got a German Panther.
Tiger. Oh, is that a Panther?
Yeah, that's the Panther. Moving in to try to give this northern attack a little bit of help. As we see here, the BR1 defense on the northern side has collapsed as 75th and 79th are able to work their way in here. You know, First Lieutenant Fizzy basically there. Weiser and Grat really pushing in with Corporal JFK as they're trying to push in from the north side. And it looks like the BR1 defense is spread out more on the south. So this is going to give 75th and 79th a chance to put some cap pressure.
Yeah, I'd recall those southern guys to come up north a bit, especially since 75th and 79th don't seem to be showing any aggression from that direction.
Yeah, there's CPAC taking down one, as in Fizzy takes on Starox. Yeah, defense is really going to have to rotate here to make sure that they can get on this point and stall this advance. As we see CPAC in that position again, really providing good overwatch and really cutting down avenues of approach.
Looks like the first lieutenant got taken down as well.
Yep, first lieutenant got taken down. Now, but there he is, you know. They have a good spawn point there that has not been found yet, so they're just able to keep streaming things in as we keep seeing from this northern side. You know, it looks like that's where the concentration is for 75th and 79th. It's pushing that northern flank and coming from the west as well. So that is really what they're trying to do. As we see the Sherman here with Deerslayer, Cryo, and Shadow moving in to try to get some support. But that Panther is behind them, so we will see if that Panther is going to be able to take it out as he misses first shot into a building as the Sherman just keeps on moving by down that road. You know, as we saw earlier with the first piece of armor from the Axis side, the urban can be a detriment to armor, but can also help it, as we just saw there, by blocking some incoming fire.
No, it's got its pluses and minuses to it. It's just all dependent on how you use it combined with your other assets. You don't want that armor just being up there all by itself is the issue in an urban environment. You want to try and have as much infantry nearby to help support it.
And here comes a bombing run. I do not know what side that was. I believe that was an Allied bombing run there. As they're able to clear out a majority of those northern Axis, as they just had another big spawn right there. As Huzzah is still trying to find that spawn point.
He's always just so close, yet so far away with it, too. Like, it's just right there under Huzzah's nose.
And here I'm seeing, again, two pieces of armor. We have the Axis Lux and the Panther here sitting on the northern side. As we take a view from this direction, as we see, we have some pressure coming from the eastern side from the Axis squads, as these two pieces of armor are really trying to solidify this northern attack. And Huzzah just gets taken down by Weiser as he's still trying to find that spawn point. Let's take a look and see. It looks like it may be out or it's in a book. Nope, it is still there. It's a very well-placed OP. As they're going to just keep pushing in from this northern side, supported by two pieces of armor.
That is extremely hidden. I wasn't even able to really see where that thing was until they all spawned in.
Yep, the only reason I know it's there is because I saw that spawn wave. Otherwise, I would not be able to see it. So that's a great spot by basically there to place his OP in that location. And here we have Thick Cut Bacon and God Emperor getting hits with their AT kits. Thick Cut Bacon was taken out by the Panther, and God Emperor is chasing down that Lux after getting a good hit on the side skirt.
Oh.
God Emperor just got taken down as well, as his northern flank for BR1 is again thin, as 75th and 79th are pushing in. But we do have a push up here, a western approach here by BR1 with the Kid leading it. Really trying to get some pressure on this second point as they're trying to push across these fields with all of the hedgerows, trees, and all the other type of cover that is out in this direction. You look like here Inkstar has a nice spot with that bush holding down this very northern flank in these kind of naturally made trench system here. Just really trying to hold it down right on the edge of the map, preventing any type of narrow flank that BR1 might try to push from.
Being a little bush Wookie there.
And the Lux is taking a hit from Juliet.
Oh.
And it's taking another hit. That Lux is in a lot of trouble now, as Juliet is trying to move himself around.
That's if Megagoon doesn't get him. If I was Megagoon, I'd be hunting Juliet down, specifically him, so that Lux could try and get repaired.
Yeah, it looks like Chips has gotten out to try to start a repair on the Lux, as Juliet does get taken down by Megagoon. And now we have Ramirez getting out of the Lux as well, trying to provide cover as they're trying to get that repair done, as we have a BR1 squad pushing in right now. Trying to get that cap pressure on this next point. Trying to really force 75th and 79th to come back on defense, as we see former Tree Herder moving up with Sea Green, Bilbo, Mickey, Peace Officer, waiting for another anti-tank guy to pop out so they're able to hit it, and there he is. Here comes Juliet, wanting to come down and finish off this Lux, as BR1 was able to take out that crew. So that Lux is now empty, ready for Juliet to take it off the map.
Honestly, I'd kind of play a bit of denial with them. I wouldn't kill it so it could spawn again for them. I'd kind of leave it there all messed up, especially if we could secure the point.
Well, I mean, it'll depend what type of nodes that they have, because if they have their nodes up, they can spawn armor at will.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, you know, Juliet takes that armor out as this squad led by Sea Green and the Kid starting to move up on the northern side of the orchard, moving into point. As we take a quick look behind at the northern flank here for BR1 on San Maria, it looks like they're able to clear out that northern point, and now they're spreading out, making sure there's no other hidden Garys or OPs. But it does appear that we have some pressure coming from the east. Yep, we have a little bit of pressure from the east. Where Ehan, CPAC are sitting here waiting. As we have basically the squad leader put that fantastic OP down, taking out CPAC there, right on the point. And it looks like Vlos has gotten into the church. He's up in CPAC's former window, just taking a look around, seeing what's going on. So great job by 75th and 79th to get into the point. You know, it looks like from the north and from the east. Now BR1's going to have to respond to that and come on through and clear them out. Yep. As it looks like the attack over at Rue de Harass is still ongoing. Looks like they've gained some bodies as well as they're moving into the point, putting cap pressure on. You know, it's popping between contested and not contested. So BR1's moving their way in here, trying to get a foothold. As we have the Panther coming on back to provide support for the defensive positions here.
Where's Juliet when they need him?
Yep, Juliet's right there in the back. He's coming up. You know, It looks like we got... Yeah, we have 2 Panthers on the field for the Axis now. It looks like they gave up on their light tank, and now they're going to run that dual heavy, trying to hold down that northern flank there. As that was a fantastic satchel there. And BR1 now has cap pressure and is capping route to harass. You know, this shows exactly what we were talking about earlier about the combined arms. While armor is great on their own, they're not going to be able to do everything that they need to do because infantry is still going to move in and take these points.
Yeah, no, infantry is going to go hide inside a building, pop shots when they can, and hide again. At the end of the day, if you truly want to take and hold something, you need boots on the ground there.
Yep, and it looks like, and we're going to fly on over, it looks like cap is now started in St. Marie Igles by 75th and 79th, as they have got themselves in the middle here. They have solidified at least 2 in the church. BR1 is contesting, however, but it looks like we have another squad coming from the east as BR1 is trying to clear out the central point here. But the 75th and 79th still have cap pressure, and they're still currently capping the point. We got Major Ocelot, half Royal squad. Both are in here. Both are trying to get their way into church. Both trying to find a way to clear it. Lionheart takes out Corporal Weiser. I believe Ocelot took out another BR1 player who was taken down. But BR1 is now regaining the cap as they are coming into the church to start clearing it out. However, basically, Grat and Fizzy and Lost are still right here in the middle. Lost is able to take out Royal as we get 2 more spawns in.
Looks like, yeah, they've got a spawn up close on there, too.
Yep, and
BR1 needs to find it.
Yep, because 75th and 79th is still currently capping, as BR1 is now going to have to figure out where they're at, where that spawn is, and push in. As they're about a quarter of the way done with the cap, the BR1 defense really has to respond and get in here and get some pressure. As we have Major Oinky starting to clear out the last of the eastern approach. You know, we're gonna hopefully we start seeing the BR1 defense collapse down here. There's a great satchel, was able to take out 1 or 2, but we're still looking at a cap. The cap is now in BR1's favor as they're able to take out enough. But it's all going to be the question of that spawn point. And the height, Grat and Velos sitting up in that tower, providing really good cover for their guys. And there's another spawn. If BR1 does not find that spawn point in that building, then they're just going to keep putting bodies on this and keep putting cap pressure. Here comes half Royal, Scotty Don't, trying to push it into the church to try to clear it out. We try to get a view in through the window here as Royal and Scotty are moving around. Royal was able to take out V-Lost, and the cap is now securely in BR1 hands for the moment as we wait to see what happens with this next spawn wave that just came in here for 75th and 79th. We do have Inertia, Draznik, and Satchel working away, probably trying to find that spawn point, work their way around, and try to take out that OP.
They're getting real close to it, too, though. It's right inside that 2-story in the backyard there.
Yes, it is, as we see Grat take down Peace Officer, Inertia and Grat running into each other, and Grat get the upper hand and take out Inertia. You know, that's another really good, right there, you can see it on the screen, that's another really good placement by basically to get a nice and hidden OP that's protected, that's not that easy to get to. So as we see the BR1 defense starting to collapse back down onto the point, all they have to do is find that OP and end this push. Satchel's right there, gets taken out by basically, we have Lionheart. Here we have Fizzy take out Scotty, trying to get Ocelot. Lionheart's able to take out Fizzy. Weiser's going out with Thick Cut Bacon. Takes out Bacon as Lionheart is here trying to see what's going on. And Velos is able to take him as well. So it looks like the BR1 defense has collapsed, but they're still unable to find that OP set down by basically there in that little side yard, as we have yet another spawn.
Pretty big spawn wave too this time. Getting a few people out.
You know, we have Draznik and Peace Officer there. They might have seen where the spawn was, so we will see if they're able to push in and take out this OP, as we see Draznik making a move. Takes out Hagrid, but he gets taken out from behind by Grat. And yes, they were able to take out the OP.
Oof.
So now...
I mean, that was great placement, though.
That was fantastic placement, but now looking around, I do not see basically, which means they're going to have to start their push all over again as they try to move their way in and take this point. We're going to pop on up here to Rue.
Looks like the BR1 guys up here got cleared out in the end.
Yep, defense was able to repel the attack by the BR1 assault squads with no pressure. So 30 minutes in to the match, it is 3-2 BR1 as they're holding the church St. Maria Glass from the 75th and 79th Infantry Divisions. You know, interesting play on the 75th and 79th running the two armored squads. Could have been a miscommunication, or rules could have changed right beforehand, but I have seen them using them in tandem up to the north to try to put pressure on that northern flank. And now, go ahead, Rarg.
Makes me wonder where the BR1 armor squad has gone off to. I haven't seen them make a move in a minute.
Yeah, I have not seen the BR1 armor squad either. They might have had to go back to get fully repaired and refit. But now we have a squad worth of 75th, 79th moving up from the south. So it looks like they're changing their vector of attack to get to the south and try to push in that way, while BR1, in their hope, is still concentrated on the north. And here we have one of the enemy Panthers sitting here right on the southern side. You know, with Royal clearly here marking it for his guys so they know where it's at. So we'll see some, I would imagine we'll see some AT guys come in his direction here shortly to deal with that enemy armor.
Oh, I'd love to see them chase them across the fields and just keep hammering them with the bazookas.
Yep, and here we go. Looks like 75th and 79th push from the south. It's starting to come into town now, with not a lot of BR1 kind of standing in their way. So we'll see how the rotation goes for BR1 as they start to realize what is going on. As we sweep down here, here's Fizzy again. We saw him on a northern flank. Here's Velos. So it looks like that squad has adjusted their attack vector as Huzzah and CPAC are holding down the southeastern approach. Velos right there is able to take out Huzzah, as we do have a mark here. It looks like BR1 is hitting it from two different sides as they're trying to push up this main road. We have Satchel and Draznik moving in from the western side to hit the southern attack point. And it looks like the BR1 defense is slowly starting to wake their way down to give some support to them as well. There's another bombing run that's dropped right down the middle of the road. Not very effective. Did not take out any, if many. I don't believe it took out any 75th, as we see them really coming in from this south to southern approach. And here we have enemy Panther, moving up the middle of this main road again, as he's going to start pushing in the point and giving the southern attack some armor support. Let's take a quick look at the map here. And for what I'm seeing, the BR1 armor is giving support up to Rue, trying to provide some assistance on this push as we are going to move up, as we see an enemy BR1 squad coming up from the south and coming in from the east, trying to get Route to harass. We got Juliet, Hawkman, the Kid moving in from the east. And we have former Tree Farmer, God Emperor, Yehan, Leon Thotsky moving in from the south. And as we discovered when looking at our map, we also have the BR1 armor up here in the north, trying to give a little bit of support there. So here we go. Here comes Yehan, Thotsky, God Emperor, and former Tree Herder moving their way up. Leon Thotsky has eyes, or should have eyes, on the enemy defensive garrison as Yehan is moving his way up as well. If they're able to take that down, that's going to be a great help as Yehan is moving to it. So the defenders are not going to have a good place to spawn. You know, as we look at this point, it has a nice fortified location in the middle. The Gary is down. Eon took down the Gary as the 75th and 79th are now rotating to meet the threat there on the western side as Eon goes down, as does former Tree Herder and God Emperor by Mega Goon, who's sitting in a great position with his MG, providing good overwatch. As we have the BR1 Armor Squad pushing right on the point, giving some support. As we have Sea Green, Thotsky, and the Bilbo here really putting pressure in on this point, giving Fame, Deuce, Mega Dune, and John a run for their money. And here comes the rest of that squad, of Ehan squad, coming up the road there to give them some support and hopefully get some cap pressure.
Sea Green sneaking into the barn with some enemies there.
Sea Green was able to clear the barn out of 2. Cap pressure is now on. The cap is now going for BR1 as Sea Green takes out 1 more, and now there's only Doc left in there, and then we have Deuce here in the little shed. As we have War Daddy sitting here in the back behind, as we have enemy armor approaching as well from the southern flank. It appears that he's already taken a couple good hits from that Sherman. But the Sherman takes a good one, and the enemy armor is able to take him down. But now we have God Emperor here, who knows where that armor is, hopefully, and finds his position. As War Daddy is able to take out the OP, but God Emperor takes out War Daddy. So the 75th and 79th are able to keep the cap in their favor as BR1 is continually putting on pressure. As they get another truck in here with the, and it appears, yes, he got another defensive Gary has gone up in the same location as it was before. As we have God Emperor coming up from the back. And we have Hawkman and the Kid up here on the northern side.
Looks like they just burned one of the defensive OPs as well.
Yep, and here we have the second piece of German armor, the Puma here, on an OP for BR1. And here we have Juliet trying to get a shot on him. He's able to get a shot, take out the guy who was repairing him. And now Ramirez is out to try to repair. As they're trying to get this Puma out of the battle. And it does look like the 75th and 79th are able to hold on to route to harass as they're able to clear out the BR1 assault squads. As BR1 now has to recruit. As we're going to go in and see how the southern attack by the 75th and 79th is faring. And it looks like they have cleared out quite a bit of BR1 defense. As there's no BR1 defenders on point waiting for a respawn. Here we have CPAC, Tranic and Starox trying to keep him. We have Major Ocelot trying to hold him, and we do have some infantry down here on the far southern side. Inertia, Lionheart, Mickey Free trying to stymie the southern attack as well. Fifty minutes left in the match, and it is still 3-2 in BR1's favor as they've been able to hold Saint Marie de Glesch for the entirety of the match at this point. They are yet to lose the point. As we had a strafing run come in. You know, as we look at this, BR1's nice solid defensive line has collapsed. However, they are doing a good job of
trying to hold them off.
Yep. And as we see here, Rob is able to get to the church as he's pushing in. They found a way in. There's Pyro and Inkstar as well. As the BR1 defense is somewhat occupied to the south, trying to hunt down the Garys and OPs. But here we also have half Royal Squad with Scotty, Major Oinky, and Starox holding down the church, trying to make sure that nothing's going to happen. But it is contested at this point. And contestation just went off as BR1 is really pushing in to the hard point to try to take out the 75th and 79th Infantry. You know, great job by the Axis team to stay really hungry on this, on the southern and northern flanks as they're really trying to get this taken care of. As Starox goes down, but so does Pyro. So as of right now, we only have Rob up in the tower with Major Oinky and Scotty below him. With the BR1 defense kind of spread out on the southern side.
The kind of good thing for the guy up in the tower is...
the guy in the tower's gone now.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, I was going to say, they don't exactly know he's up there, but never mind.
And we did just have a vehicle go down over here. It appears to be an Axis truck was taken down as they're trying to probably get in here on the point and provide some support. As we see here, Sergeant Inkstar has contested. 75th and 79th did start a cap before it got contested. So, BR1's moving back in. It's still contested, slight cap, and they're fully capping the back now. But by the looks of it, they're flooding in from the southern point here as the BR1 defense is trying to hold them from the east and from the south. The north is clear. As we move back up to the north to look at how this assault is going for those BR1 assault squads. What I'm seeing here is BR1 now attacking from the eastern side, trying to move their way back in. As we also had some... I wasn't able to catch his name, but we did have a BR1 engineer able to get a satchel down and take him out. However, I believe it was a BR1 armor that was coming up this road that was able to take him out, as we have the BR1 Sherman 76 moving his way up to support this northern assault. But as we go back to St. Marie, the cap is on. BR1 was just able to recover, but the cap was up to 50%. So they are putting a lot of pressure on right now as BR1 is trying to prevent this. As we have a flare go up by Corporal JFK, which, as we all know, has given the positions of BR1 to the offensive players. But as we see here, Major Oinky and Half Royal, Starox, the Bilbo, Tranic, Inertia, Scotty, Mickey Free, CPAC, and Major Ocelot solidly on point here, recapping it and stopping that offensive push. So great job by the BR1 defense there to get themselves reestablished on the point so they're able to hold it and stop that cap and recap it. And we also do have a BR1 squad here spread out to the south, really trying to figure out where these OPs are, where these Garys are, so they're able to get in there and eliminate the southern push. But I do hear Plane. This could be a bombing run coming in. Yep, and here comes a bombing run.
That's going to be devastating if people aren't indoors.
That was a great placement, but from the looks of it, only took out one BR1 defender because a majority of the defensive squad is in the church, so they are able to stay safe from that. As we take a look back up here at the assaulting force, looks like the 75th and 79th are pushing out, definitely trying to clear the area out, as that 76 is up here trying to push in and give them support. As Juliet takes down an engineer who's probably going to go up and try to satchel. We do have one AT right there, War Daddy on the backside. That could be a dangerous position. If it puts one shot in the backside, that did quite a bit of damage to that 76. So he's got to get out of there, and BR1 has got to get some infantry support on that 76 so they do not lose it. That's going to be key for them on that point. And here comes a BR1 bombing run. Which
took their own armor out, though.
Yes, the BR1 bombing run was able to take out that 76, which was theirs, or it could have been that Puma at the same time. But now we have the Puma back on point, trying to give their defenders a little bit of help, as we do have Goose pop a flare for the defense. That is something that I've been seeing from a lot of teams and not from BR1, is the use of the flares from the recon squads, as we see yet another one come up over St. Mary Glass as we come back in here, as they're now pushing their way in, putting that cap pressure on. We have some in the north, we got some in the east, we got some on the south. So we got, 75th and 79th making a hard push into that church. Even though BR1's able to recover what they lost cap-wise, we got V lost and Fizzy into church. We got JFK just got taken down. He was the one who was putting up the those flares. As we have CPAC trying to get some explosives in there to dislodge them from the church, as we have Ocelot moving his way in as well, with Huzzah and Thick Up Bacon taking out one here on the southern flank. So here we have Inertia and Mickey Free here holding down the southern flank, stopping this squad from being able to push from that location. Just Corporal Pyro left there. As we were looking around, I'm not seeing any spawns come from the 75th, 79th boys here on the southern side, but I do see plenty of bodies coming from this eastern side as they're trying to push into the point. And it does look like 75th and 79th are capping St. Mary Glass, as the BR1 assault en route, it has gotten their way in there, and they've been putting cap pressure. So let's take a look here and see what's going on, as the BR1 boys are able to push their way all the way in here. And now they're getting back into these farm buildings, as they're trying to put this pressure on, as their defense is holding on to St. Mary. Here we have...
Looks like a Panther hunting down that OP, trying to get to it.
Yep, we have the German Panther and Panther up here in the north again. But what we have here is BR1 trying to solidify their hold on this point. Trying to get in there, trying to start to cap, which they have started to cap. As we have former Tree Herder, Peace Officer, Sea Green, Leon Thotsky, Ehan, and Satchel really pushing into the point, but they keep getting contested as the defenders have been able to spawn repeatedly on an OP that is going to be pretty well hidden. Right around here on this, right in that corner of those hedgerows.
Yeah.
So they are not, 75th is trying to get this contested. They did drop some supplies here to probably try to get a Gary up, but BR1 is clearing them out the best that they can as they keep coming in. The cap is still going. They're about a quarter of the way done with the cap. As Mikey 7422 pops a flare to give these assaulters an advantage to kind of try to figure out what's going on, as the Puma starts coming in. But there's Juliet, who was able to get a nice bazooka on him and take him out. So that armor is no longer here to assist on this point, as BR1 has it almost halfway capped, as they are able to take out the Gary and the supply, or the OP and the supplies that were dropped for them to build the Gary. So as of right now, they are alone on the point, as the BR1 assault squads have finally cleared out route to Haras, as they are now past the halfway point for the cap, the 75th and 79th having to really push in here. And
it was hard fought for them getting there too.
It was very hard fought. The assault squad showed some great strength and just keep pushing there. As we do see here in the distance, this Panther, I believe it's a Panther, pushing in on this dirt road to get in on the point here to put some pressure on it. But we do have Juliet, former tree herder and the God Emperor as AT here. So, this Panther's not going to be that safe, as we do have a defensive squad or assault squad for 75th, 79th pushing up from the south to try to give themselves a little bit of help. But as we see, BR1 did just finish capping route to Haras, as they are now going to have to start rotating their defenders up, and the assault squads are going to have to start pushing on Volaville. Like you said, it was a great job by the BR1 assault squads to get themselves in there. And really, it was a really tough fight. Great job on the defense from 75th and 79th. As we see this Panther in full retreat heading back to either rearm, repair, or get to Volaville. And here comes some supplies down for BR1 to get a Gary up. So as we come back to St. Mare, the BR1 defense is thinning themselves out, trying to clear some of these bodies off, but at the same time, they're going to have to rotate up to route to Haras to get more bodies on that defensive point to free those assault to push the next point. And let's see if we still have the assault guys up here, and there's a nice shot there from God Emperor right in the back of that Panther. Ehan's able to take out his infantry support, but here comes another Panther. So we have both Panthers for the Axis team right at this location. So these AT guys are going to have to get some good shots to try to get one of these guys out. Another great shot by God Emperor right on the back skirt of that Panther. And now we have Thick Up Bacon, former tree herder, working their way to try to take this Panther out.
Satchel's trying to get up on the other one too.
Yeah, he's just keeping marks on. As Satchel gets taken down, as God Emperor is now behind this Panther, keeping the marks live, making sure that everyone knows where it's at. Now he's lining up his shot, as it looks like he's reloading. He might be out of rocket ammo. No, he has his bazooka out, and there we have Inertia working for a point, and there we have Inertia, another nice shot in the back there, as we do have assault squads from 75th, 79th pushing up from Volaville, from the southwest and from the west side, as we have BR1 squads, as we can see here, chasing these Panthers out of the area and leaving the infantry alone. And they were able to take out one of the Panthers there. That was most likely Inertia or Juliet. Fantastic job by those AT troopers, as this Panther right here is trying to get out of there, as we do have an engineer, Leon Thotsky, and a former tree herder, an AT troop, chasing him down.
There's just something comical about watching infantry chase a tank across an open field, and the tank just trying to run as far as it can to get away from them.
Yeah, and that is exactly what's happening, as we have a 76 here hunting him down, trying to take out that Panther. So as we look here, we have a large amount of the BR1 team setting up their defenses and really digging themselves in on this point, as they are going to hopefully hold it while their assault squads are going to push out down to Volaville. Let me take a look, see if we have any BR1 down here. We do not have any BR1 yet down on Volaville. It doesn't look like they're attempting a flank yet, but artillery is hitting it. So, you know, BR1 might be prepping for a push here shortly as now they're defending from a western and a southern attack by 75th and 79th. As we do have, I believe, an armor trade.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yep. Looks like the Panther and the 76 traded, so the Panther's now out of the picture. That was in the rear of BR1's lines as we move our way up here. As we see 75th and 79th creating a good line, use of those hedgerows to stymie any type of flank that BR1 might be trying to have around the northern flank to get to Volaville, as they're also trying to thin the defense out so they can push in. As we see the BR1 defense positioning themselves along walls, trying to get in good positions to hold off any type of assault that might come from the south.
Looks like Ehan's trying to hold them fields down as well.
Yep, we have Ehan there in the hedgerow. We got Satchel as well trying to hold down this field. Keep Hosier out here. And Ehan's able to get Hosier as Hagrid has moved up. Trying to work his way in. As we do have, it looks like some BR1 guys moving across on the southern flank. Trying to get in position to attack Volaville, as the defense here has now kind of solidified. But here we have Grat moving in from the northern side. And it looks like Bilbo and Ehan might know where Grat is. And here comes a bombing run right along the road, that hedgerow line that BR1 was using to hold off the defense, or this offensive squad that's approaching from the west. And here we have a big push by the 75th, 79th boys, the Axis squad, pushing in across that open field now that hedgerow was taken out.
I mean, that was good timing, having them starting their push right as that already started landing.
Yeah, that was a great bombing run by the Axis commander, as now BR1 is having to re-solidify themselves as we have a big push come in here from the western side by 75th and 79th. And there is a bombing run response by BR1. However, it was just a couple yards too far north, as it only took out one of the attackers.
It took out a couple of them. There was like 2 of them that got taken out with that. But still, I like to see that counter aggression, like you bomb me, I'll bomb you in the same spot.
Yep, and there we have Ocelot getting taken down by the one Jimmy. We have Pyro sitting here, you know, CPAC and Starox trying to hold these guys off, but 75th and 79th now has cap pressure. They are capping Route de Harras, as BR1 is now going to have to reestablish themselves after that bombing run by the commander of the Axis side. As we do see in the distance, BR1 is pushing across those fields, trying to get to Volaville in order to put some pressure on that point. But BR1's defense is going to have to really solidify themselves here, as 75th and 79th are still putting on quite a bit of pressure. BR1 has contested the cap as they're able to get a spawn on, but 75th and 79th are still capping as of right now. And there's a contested again, but every time it gets contested, a couple of BR1 defenders get taken out, and the Axis are able to continue to cap. As Battles Jehovah takes out Hagrid here on the northern side. And BR1 is capping again as they're able to stop that western assault. However, there is still a handful of Axis players on the point. Leon Thotsky holding that road down until that Panther took him out through the hedgerow. And the cap, again, is going in the Axis favor with about a quarter left. 30, just over 30 minutes left in the match with BR1 leading 4-2 or 4-1. However, they're about to lose route to harass, which is going to turn it back to a 3-2 match. And we're going to be back in St. Marie Igles if the defense is not able to stop this assault.
I think their OP or something got burned there that they had right on the point.
I believe
that
so.
Really hampered their defense of it.
Yep, 75th. The Axis was able to retake route to harass. So now it is 3-2 BR1 with St. Mary Igles being the next cap point for Axis and route being the cap point for Allies again. The Axis side has been able to use their 2 armor pieces, depending whatever they're going to use, whether it's a Panther or whether it's, a Puma, Lux. They've been using it very effectively to support their defense and their assaulting forces as well. As we see this Panther moving through this open field again with Juliet and former tree herder trying to do something about it as it turns on him. And there's the Emperor trying not to get ran over and trying to get a satchel down on him.
Oh, here's his chance, too.
As this might be the point, as there, it looks like he's getting his satchel out. He has a satchel on, so that Panther is going to be out of play here shortly. As Dotsky, if he does not move, he's not going to make it, as that satchel will take him out as well. As he's just standing on top of the Panther. As we watch,
I just want to know what's going through his head with this one.
I mean, really, there's nothing much he can do as he's waiting, and there goes the Panther. The Panther is gone with a great satchel there, as we also have the BR1 offensive squads now pushing back into route, starting to cap. This squad, Hawkman, Peace Officer, Lionheart, Satchel, the Bilbo. We've seen them here quite a bit. They've been doing a really good job pushing in with Huzzah, trying to find either a good OP placement, good Gary placement, or his own position. But what we do have is St. Marie Igles was being capped. As we come back here to take a look at the defense, as we see a very large push by the Axis coming from the northeast part, as a cap race was started, but BR1 was able to contest that, recap St. Marie, or St. Mare, as they are now almost 50% done with their cap at route. However, it does appear that the Axis squad was capping again, and it is contested by the BR1 defense yet again.
Yeah, but every second the BR1 defense can stall gives their attack squads more time to cap route.
Exactly, and it looks like the cap is over halfway done, almost 2/3 of the way done, as it looks like we do have a bombing run incoming here. This could be... Or maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it's not a bombing run. And here comes the Junkers with a precision strike right there, as we just saw drop, hearing those horns of Jericho. It's one of my favorite additions they've made to the game recently. They did a fantastic job with those horns of Jericho. I wish it lasted a little bit longer because it's such a great sound to hear.
Oh, yeah.
But here we see the BR1 offensive squads really working on pushing out. We have Doc there as they just finally capped the route, as we have Doc just got taken out and was hiding in a bush. As now BR1 has captured route to harass, and they have gotten supplies down. So now again, we got to see a quick rotation by the BR1 defense to give the BR1 offensive squads the ability to push up, as we have another piece of Axis armor coming in. We have a Lux coming in from the south with Juliet and God Emperor here to provide some cover and try to get some bazookas on it.
They've just given up on the Panther again and went straight for the light tank once again just to try and get some fast, quick anti-infantry armor up there.
Yep, it took a couple hits, but it was able to take out both AT troops that were there. But it is very hurt, as we can see. So it looks like BR1 is spreading themselves out a little bit, so they don't get taken out the same way they did with that bombing run as this Lux is moving around. As we do have Juliet respawn, Thick Cut Bacon moving up with some AT, God Emperor respawned with AT. You know, now they're going to start hunting this tank again as he is trying to move around. You know, God Emperor put a nice round in the front, however, he paid dearly for his attempt there.
It's all worth it in the end if it can help bring that thing down, though.
And there's Thick Cut Bacon putting a round on him. Juliet coming in as well here behind that hedgerow. You know, the BR1 AT play is fantastic. They really do a good job of swarming enemy armor when they do see it.
Yes, that they do.
And here comes God Emperor again, looking for his angle as Major JVR, who attempted to get out to repair the Lux, is taken down. That is now an undercrewed piece of armor as he's showing his back end to Thick Cut Bacon. And God Emperor, who's able to hit it yet again.
This thing's taking a beating, too. Like, you ordinarily wouldn't think a Lux would be taking this many rockets, but they just do not want to die right now.
No, and they did a really good job of presenting their front armor, which was giving them the ability to take a few more rockets. As we have Thick Cut Bacon behind a hedgerow trying to find a spot. As that Lux is just holding down that field and preventing BR1 really from holding that. And here comes God Emperor again. He wants that armor. You know, he's put in quite a few rockets. He's going to try to get there. As we see a BR1 squad there. Oh, and there's a ricochet from God Emperor as he's moving to get a better line. God Emperor is able to get that last rocket in the back of that Lux, was able to take him out. As we see the Axis squad on these western hedgerows yet again. And BR1 on these eastern hedgerows, right where that bombing run came in last time. That's going to be a really dangerous position for them to be in, because it's going to be really easy for them to get taken out. You know, and here comes another 76 for BR1 to get up here and give them some support on his northern side. But the question is, you know, we have defensive BR1 squads look like they're attempting to set up a southern flank. As we have the Panther here on this main road sitting there looking up at that point, providing some long distance cover fire for this assault. Let's take a look over here at this southern push that BR1 is attempting to get here. And we have Inertia, Sea Green, Peace Author, Hawkman all pushing in here from the south. We have Mickey Free up on a wing, getting a height advantage to be able to ping, let his guys know where everything is at. So great position for a squad lead there with his binos to be able to mark and ping everything. As we now see up at Route de Varas a eastern flanking movement from the Axis squads that they're trying to push in as well. You know, BR1 doing a really good job of spreading the defense out, pushing up a little bit to those western hedgerows to eliminate that. However, what we do have is they almost lost their defensive Gary as Pyro was on it, just disassembling it as he was hit. And here comes that Panther from the southern side to try to give some support to his attacking squads. As the 76, I believe, sees him as he's moving into position. As we see those great marks by the BR1 squad leaders, they're really letting their armor know exactly where that Panther is. As the Panther gets the first shot off, and there's a second shot. The front armor on those 76s are not going to hold up to those Panther shots. So now we have the Panther on the eastern side with 3 infantry as they're trying to push in. But as we see here, BR1 has pushed into Volaville from that southern flank, and they have started a cap. It is contested now, but they are putting the cap pressure on.
Race.
And as we see here, I believe... Yep. Is that a Tiger? No. But as we see that armor come in and clear everything out there, and as the assault squad for the Axis out here on Ruta Haras is able to push in, dislodge BR1 with the help of that Panther. As there's God Emperor again, putting something into it. He's got to watch out for Grot there. Yep.
Yep, Grot. Grot didn't appreciate him beating up on the Panther too much.
No, as we see, we do have the cap in Volaville. Was started, but again, was contested yet again. As CPAC is right near Grot there. He's trying to work his way around, and he gets taken down, trying to find an angle to get that Panther, as BR1 is able to solidify their hold and start a cap again on Volaville. But we do have this squad moving in from eastern side to get in here and put the cap pressure on for the Axis squad. I don't know what that Panther is shooting at, as I do not see a Sherman. But they do have someone out repairing it. We have Starox, an engineer, hiding there in the fortifications, as they have started capping Ruta Haras. As we have Huzzah coming back to try to give a little bit of support. But the defensive squads are really going to have to pop out and get on this point, as a cap race has started down in Volaville, as BR1 assault squads are trying to solidify themselves on the point.
Ooh. That other tank there, though, putting in its work, trying to get them off of it.
Yeah, that I believe that's a Panzer III. As
No,
Juliet,
that's not a Panzer III. I don't think. Yeah, that cannon's too big for it. That might be a 4.
Yeah, there we go. It's a Panzer IV. It is their medium tank. As the defense for the Axis squads are able to get back in there and stymie the BR1 assault, as we do have the Axis cap on Ruta Haras is continuing, as BR1 is trying to get their bodies on there. They're trying to take out this Panther.
Yeah, no, that Panther's the biggest thorn in their side. If they can get rid of that thing, they have no issue holding the infantry off.
Yeah, but that Panther's put itself in a good position with some infantry support on the west. As that Panther is sitting there just shredding the BR1 defenders as they're trying to get up. The 75th and 79th have over halfway capped Ruta Haras, so defense and assault is going to have to rotate back as quickly as possible, try to do something here before they lose it again and have to go back to St. Mary Gless with just under 17 minutes left. BR1 is hanging on to a 4-1 lead. However, it looks like it's going to flip again to a 3-2. As this Panther is just sitting there holding off any type of defensive advance for BR1. As we do see some of the assault elements and defensive elements here really moving through, trying to get some pressure on that point. But at this point, it has been capped in Axis favor, so it is 3-2. St. Mary Glass needs to be captured for the Axis, and Route de Harras again has to be captured by BR1 with just under 16 minutes left in the match.
Honestly, I mean, the way I'd play it if I was BR1 is I'd just focus everyone on defense around St. Mare and just take the win. You're guaranteed it at this point as long as you hold that point.
That is true. If they do just collapse their entire unit, everything down on that point, they will be able to hold it. And it would give them the win, but it looks like Thick Cut Bacon put a couple shots there in the rear end of that Panther. As the one Jimmy is moving up behind him to try to take him out. As now the Axis defense is going to start moving in and solidifying. Thick Cut Bacon has been taken down. There are no BR1 members on the point at this time. So now let's fall on back here as we see the BR1 squad start spawning around. And here we have the BR1 armor running the medium Sherman. As we do see the BR1 defensive squads collapsing on point, as here is that Axis Panzer 4 around the point getting a lot of marks. So the Sherman trying to line himself up to get into this and take out that enemy armor. As we also have CPAC chasing him. And 2 squad leads chasing, trying to keep those marks as accurate as possible. And there is the Sherman. Great shot right in the back. Goes a great marksman squad leader to let them know where they're at. So great job by those squad leaders. Half Royal and Major Ocelot and Sea Green getting those accurate marks down so their armor is able to get there and take out what needed to be taken out. As we do see, it appears that the entire BR1 team is collapsing back on St. Mary Glass to hold this for the last 13 and a half minutes of this match. As we do have this enemy, the Axis Panther up here in the north again, where they like to go looping around everything to try to get an eastern attack. As we have BR1 squads spread out, waiting for the infantry to have to push on through. As you can see along that tree and wall line there, they're just waiting for that infantry to start pushing from Route to Harras. As the defensive squads here are spreading themselves out into buildings, making sure there's no enemy hiding so they can make sure that they can take this and hold it. As we have here, Major Oinky and Scotty on an AT gun holding down this western flank.
I love seeing all the different placements, like people making AT gun emplacements. It's always interesting to watch where they want to place them.
Yeah, the AT guns, as we saw in the 50-man, can be a little bit overutilized and placed in the open, where it does appear that BR1, put this one in a really good position to hold down that approach from Route to Harras, even though the German armor, as we can see back here, is in the north. As we have the Sherman moving into position to try to harass it, as that Panthers is moving back around north. As we look around, BR1 defense is really well spread out. And as we see here, with the marks, with armor, and the spread that they have along this wall, just try to hold the infantry off as long as they can. I mean, right now we're at 11 minutes left in the match, and if you remember, 2 minutes is about how long uncontested it takes to cap a point, as this Panther is getting hit multiple times. And here comes the Sherman. Oh.
Oh, no. That Sherman, yeah, no, can't take those front plate shots from a Panther's gun for too long.
No, and especially that first one, they hit him on the undercarriage. It's a deadly spot for any type of armor. As this Panther's really holding down this northern side, trying to give their infantry an opening to get in here. But as we see Leon Thotsky and God Emperor trying to move into position to get a shot off in order to remove this armor, get it off the map, and have to get another one in, spawn it, move it all the way to the front.
On God Emperor.
Oh, Major Oinky, God Emperor, and Leon all shot at the same time. Looks like they got 2 hits on it. And there it goes. As Chips was able to get out the last moment and nobody saw it, as we do see over here, we do have a push coming from the Axis, moving from Rutger Harass, trying to move in. But as we see, we have Kid, the Bilbo, and Juliet holding down this western flank. So as we see a large, at least 2 or 3 squads are pushing on the western side here for the Axis squad. The Axis side, as the Kid is the last one there. And as we push back into town, Axis has started a cap. They are able to get in. So now BR1 is going to have to collapse on St. Mary Glass and eliminate the enemy threat in order to hold this. As the cap is about a quarter of the way done, here comes Major Ocelot trying to move his way in. And there's that enemy Puma rearing his ugly head yet again, working its way around that church, really holding it down. We're about a third of the way before BR1 was able to contest the cap. But it is now, again, capping in the Axis favor. There's another contestation, but we will see if BR1... Yeah, BR1 is now recapping with 8 minutes, 15 seconds left, trying to hold it down. And it looks like BR1 is dropping a bombing run on Ruta Harass, maybe just trying to hold defenders in, making them think that someone's pushing, trying to take out a garrison. That was a bombing run right behind Ruta Harass, as we also have this western push coming in with Ehan and Mickey Free trying to hold that down with their squads. And there's another bombing run on St. Mare. However, not as effective as they would hope, as BR1 is now solidifying their position again on the church.
Honestly, for me, I wouldn't even really bother with bombing runs around that church, just because there's so many buildings for the defenders to always hide in.
Yeah, I mean, you hope to catch them in the open as they're moving around, but BR1 has collapsed down on this point pretty well. Looks like they pulled everyone back, and they're spreading out in the city to make sure that they can hold it. As BR1 has pulled out another 76 to give themselves some armor support at the church. And here we see a little push from the Axis moving up there in the southwestern corner. Well, Thick Cut Bacon, I believe that was... Yeah, Thick Cut Bacon took out a truck. I thought that was the Puma. It was not. So now as we're...
You just wanted to cause a nice little boom there at the end, I think.
Yep, just over 6 minutes left as BR1 has collapsed on the St. Mary Glass as they are now trying to hold this position with armor support as well. You know, this has been a great match by both sides, honestly. I mean, the back and forth has been on St. Marie, or St. Mary, excuse me, and the back and forth has been on Route de Arras. Like, that has been a fantastic back and forth. The armor play by the Axis team has been fantastic. 75th and 79th have two good armor squads there, as BR1 is now trying to prevent a southern flank from the Axis team. You know, I will say, though, that AT play by BR1, able to get those bazookas out where they need them, chasing down multiple bazookas per armor unit, has been very, very vital in them holding down this.
Yeah, they've been merciless with their AT teams going out there and just chasing these Axis armor units down.
As the 76 takes out, it looks like they caught up with that medium, that Panzer IV. As it appears 79th is moving in from the northwest and the south, really putting pressures. BR1 is rather spread out. You know, so we're looking at, you know, the last 4.5 minutes of the match as they are trying to hold it down the best that they can, as we're seeing a multiple front push by the Axis team, and a very strong push coming from the southern flank as they're starting to roll up right here, getting to where they need to be, as BR1 defense needs to fall back and hold on to that point, as we do see the Panther. Nope. Yep, the Panther moving itself back in, going right to the point to give the Axis some armor support on this final point, as they are starting to cap it. BR1 just contested, but the cap was started, so BR1 defense really needs to collapse back and hold for 3.5 more minutes. And that is a long time to hold in this game. 3.5 minutes is a long time.
Oh yeah.
As we see the BR1 commander Tranich in the tower, trying to get all the marks that he possibly can and utilize his assets to the best of his ability. What were you going to say, Rob?
I was just gonna say I'd have my MGs and marksmen try and fall back and use that tower to just lay down suppression from above.
Yeah, the height advantage of the tower is going to be key. As we see these BR1 squads here to the south really fighting hard with Satchel, Starox who's down, Drazik. There's Satchel taking down Rob. You know, these 1- and 2-man teams that BR1 is running out here on the flanks has been doing a really good job of keeping these assaults at bay. As we're nearing the 2.5 minute mark. You know, it's going to be all or nothing here for the 75th and 79th Infantry Divisions to start their push. Because if they're not able to, the match is over. You know, now we're at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. As here comes that Panther yet again with Juliet tracking him down. Sherman trying to hide there, but getting hit multiple times by that Panther. As that Panther's hurt, as Major Oinke puts a round into it, and Juliet's trying to get behind there. With 1:40 left, it looks like BR1 is going to hold on and win this match 3-2 against the 75th and 79th Infantry Divisions. As Major Oinke and Juliet, as they have all game, are just chasing down this enemy armor, putting rocket after rocket into them. And I did just hear a Lux somewhere as well. And here comes the Lux right down that main road, trying to put a little bit more pressure on. As there's Juliet lining up for a shot. As it looks like Major Oinky went down. And here we have Fnatic Duck get taken down by Scotty. Corporal JFK into church. Less than a minute left. That's going to do it.
Yep.
BR1's going to win this against 75th and 79th. 3-2. Full-length match.
Juliet getting his Panther kill there at the end.
Yep. And, you know, thank you guys for joining us. It was a pleasure as always. 30 seconds left. Good job, both teams. 75th, 79th, well fought. Great armor play, great defense. BR1, fantastic job. Way to hold at the end. Thank you again for joining us. This is Matador with Rarg here. After the score comes up, we will do some final thoughts. But great match all the way through. Exciting and very dynamic. BR1 winning 3-2. So here we have the scores. If anybody is interested, looking at the squads there. You know, great job all the way around. The armor squads, both sides, did a really good job. So, you know, here we are yet another one in the books. What are your final thoughts?
Honestly, it would have been a little interesting to see if BR1 had 2 armor squads up, what it would have, like, just exactly how it would have turned out. But I think, honestly, the fact that they only had 1 armor squad and all that infantry to push probably worked more in their favor.
Yeah, the having, I mean, even though it's 3 in an armor squad, when you think about it, you know, that's 10% of a 30-man team. That's half the squad. So, you know, I think BR1 did a fantastic job with their AT troops, rotating where they needed to rotate, being where they needed to be. Not a lot of big flanks this match, a lot more narrow flanks trying to work within the map. But overall, you know, both sides, fantastic. Those are my final thoughts. Great armor, great flanks, and the AT play out of those AT troops for BR1 was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So with that, signing off. We will let you know when the next one is. Come back and join us here at BR1 Gaming TV. This is Matador. This is Rarg signing off for tonight. Have a great one.